Millionaire was shopping at the grocery store when suddenly his ex-wife appeared with 3 identical daughters. Michael Anthony Wilson stopped pushing his cart in the middle of the cereal aisle. His breath caught in his throat as he saw the woman in a beige coat walking toward him, accompanied by 3 girls dressed in identical burgundy dresses. 12 years had passed since his messy divorce from Jennifer, but it wasn't her presence that left him frozen. It was the 3 girls walking beside her. All of them had his dark brown eyes, the same nose shape, the same chin curve. It was as if someone had made 3 copies of him in a feminine version. Jennifer spotted him too, and immediately tried to steer the girls toward another aisle, but it was too late. The tallest of the 3 had already noticed him and let go of her mother's hand. "Mom, that man is staring at us," the girl said, pointing directly at Michael Anthony. "Let's go, Emily. We need to finish shopping," Jennifer replied quickly, avoiding eye contact. But Emily kept watching Michael Anthony with curiosity. She took a few steps closer, ignoring her mother's insistent calls. "Are you the man in the pictures Mom hides in the drawer?" Emily asked with the innocence of an 11-year-old. Michael Anthony felt his blood run cold. What pictures? Why would Jennifer keep photos of him after all this time? "Emily, come here now," Jennifer snapped, visibly nervous. "I'm sorry, sir, my daughter is very curious." She moved to retrieve the girl, still avoiding looking directly at him. "Jennifer," he finally managed to speak, "are these your daughters?" The other 2 girls stepped closer, all staring at him with the same curious expression. The resemblance was undeniable. They were practically identical to each other, but each carried unmistakable traces of the Wilsons. "Hello, Michael Anthony," Jennifer answered tightly. "Yes, they're my daughters, Emily, Olivia, and Sophia." "How old are they?" and he asked, doing mental math that only unsettled him further. 11, Jennifer replied quickly. "They were born 11 years ago." Michael Anthony recalculated. The divorce had been finalized 12 years ago, after months of arguments and misunderstandings. If the girls were 11. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. "Mister, do you know our mum?" Olivia, the middle girl, asked with genuine interest. "Yes, I do. Your mother and I were married a long time ago," Michael Anthony answered, unable to take his eyes off the 3 girls. "Wow, so you were our stepdad?" Sophia, the youngest, asked excitedly. "Not exactly," Jennifer cut in quickly. "Girls, let's finish shopping. Your dad is waiting at home." The mention of the girl's current father hit Michael Anthony like a punch to the gut. Of course, Jennifer had moved on. 12 years was more than enough time to rebuild a life. "Michael Anthony? Michael Anthony Wilson?" A woman's voice called from behind him. He turned and saw Samantha, the supermarket manager, and his distant cousin. She approached with a bright smile. "What a surprise to see you here. You never shop in person," Samantha said, greeting him with a kiss on the cheek. "Yeah, I decided to break routine today," Michael Anthony replied, still watching Jennifer and the girls. "Oh look, the Wilson triplets are here too," Samantha exclaimed, waving at the girls. "Hi, girls. How are you?" Michael Anthony froze. "Wilson?" The girls had the last name Wilson. "Wilson?" he asked Samantha, unable to hide his shock. "Yes, Emily, Olivia, and Sophia Wilson. They've been coming here with their mum for years." "They're special customers," Jennifer explained naturally. Michael Anthony turned pale. The girls looked confusedly between the adults, sensing something was wrong. "Samantha, we have to go," Jennifer said hurriedly, grabbing the hands of the 3 girls. "But Mom, we still need to buy ice cream," Emily protested. "We'll get it another day," Jennifer insisted, pushing the cart toward the checkout. Michael Anthony stood frozen in the aisle, processing the information. The girls had his last name. They looked like him. They were the right age to be his daughters. Samantha noticed the tension in the air. "Did something happen? You're acting strange," she asked. "Samantha, you said they've been customers for years," Michael Anthony asked. "Yes, since they moved to the neighborhood about 7 years ago." "Why? And their father, have you ever seen him?" Actually, no. It's always just Jennifer with them. Sometimes they mention their dad at home, but I've never met him in person. Michael Anthony left the supermarket without finishing his groceries. His mind was racing. He needed answers, and he knew Jennifer would never give them willingly. The next day, Michael Anthony was in his office at the import company he'd built from the ground up when his phone rang. It was Robert Johnson, the private investigator who occasionally worked for his business. "Robert, I need you to look into something for me urgently." "Go ahead, Mr. Wilson." "Jennifer Taylor Wilson, my ex-wife. We married 14 years ago, divorced 12 years ago. I want to know everything about her life since then, especially about the 3 daughters she has." "Understood. How much time do I have?" 2 days. And Robert, absolute discretion." "You got it, sir." Michael Anthony spent that night unable to sleep. The images of the 3 girls wouldn't leave his mind. The resemblance was undeniable. But if they were really his daughters, why had Jennifer never told him? He remembered their last arguments before the divorce. He'd said things he regretted. Harsh words about not wanting children, about how a family would interfere with his plans to expand the company. But that had been in the heat of the moment, during the constant fights that marked the end of their marriage. The next morning, Michael Anthony was reviewing contracts when his secretary, Mrs. Baker, a 60-year-old woman who'd worked with him for 2 decades, entered his office. "Sir, there's a woman here asking to speak with you. Says it's urgent." "Who is it?" "Barbara Taylor. Said she's your ex-wife's mother." Michael Anthony felt a chill in his stomach. The mother-in-law who'd always despised him was here. This couldn't be a coincidence. "Send her in." Barbara Taylor walked into the office with the same haughty posture Michael Anthony remembered. At 70, she still carried herself elegantly, her gaze wary. "Michael Anthony," she said curtly, ignoring his greeting. "Barbara, what brings you here?" "You know exactly what brings me here. My daughter told me about your encounter yesterday at the market." "Ah, I see, and nothing. I won't have you disturbing my family." "Your family? Barbara, those girls are none of your concern," she snapped. "Jennifer has rebuilt her life. She has a wonderful husband who loves those children as his own. I won't let you destroy her happiness again." "Again? I never destroyed anyone's happiness." "No? What about those horrible things you said about children? That they'd only get in the way, that family was for people without ambition?" Michael Anthony vaguely remembered the arguments, but not with such clarity. It had been a difficult time for both of them. "Barbara, if those girls are my daughters, I have a right to know." "A right? You gave up any rights 12 years ago when you made it clear you didn't want to be a father." The conversation was interrupted when Barbara, in the heat of the argument, let slip a crucial piece of information. "Besides, Jennifer was already pregnant when you separated. She found out 2 months after the divorce, but you had already made it clear that—" Barbara realized what she had said and immediately fell silent. "Pregnant," Michael repeated slowly. "She was pregnant and never told me?" "I didn't say anything," Barbara replied, standing up quickly. "Barbara, sit down. Let's talk like adults. I have nothing to say to you, and if you try to get close to the girls, I'll sue you for harassment." "On what legal grounds?" "I'll find grounds. You have money and so do I. And unlike you, I have the truth on my side." Barbara stormed out, slamming the door, leaving Michael even more confused and determined to uncover the truth. That afternoon, Robert called with the first pieces of information. "Sir, I've found some interesting things." "Go ahead." "The birth certificates of the 3 girls, Emily, Olivia, and Sophia Wilson. They were born on March 15th, 11 years ago. Triplets. And the father's name? That's the interesting part. The father's field is blank on all 3 certificates." Michael did the math again. If they were born in March, they were conceived in June of the previous year, exactly the period when he and Jennifer were still living together, but already in the process of separating. "Anything else?" "Yes. Their mother tried to contact someone multiple times in the first year after the girls were born. The calls were always to your company, but they were blocked." "Blocked? By whom?" "I'll look into that too, sir." Michael hung up and called Mrs. Baker into his office. "Rosa, I need to ask you something. Do you remember any calls from Jennifer in the first year after our divorce?" Mrs. Baker looked visibly uncomfortable. "Sir, that was so long ago. Rosa, it's important." "Well, she did call a few times, yes. She said it was urgent, that she needed to speak with you about something very important. And why didn't you ever pass those calls to me? You had said not to accept any calls from her, that you wanted to forget that chapter of your life completely." Michael vaguely remembered giving that instruction, but it had been during the most painful phase of the divorce, when any contact with Jennifer left him devastated. "Did she ever say what she wanted to talk about?" "Once, she mentioned it was about responsibilities you needed to know, but you were traveling to Japan, remember? That negotiation that lasted 2 months. Rosa, did you ever receive letters from her?" Mrs. Baker hesitated before answering. "A few. I kept them all in the drawer in case you ever wanted to see them." "Do you still have those letters?" "Yes, sir. I never had the heart to throw them away." Michael asked her to bring the letters immediately. When Mrs. Baker returned with a manila envelope, her hands trembled slightly. "Sir, I thought I was protecting you. After the divorce, you were in such a bad state, barely eating, barely sleeping." "I understand, Rosa. You can leave the letters here." Alone in his office, Michael opened the first letter. It was dated 2 months after the divorce was finalized. "Michael, I know you don't want any contact with me, but I need to tell you something very important. I've discovered something that will change our lives and you have the right to know. Please call me Jennifer." The second letter was from a month later. "Michael, I've tried calling several times, but your secretary says you don't want to speak to me. I understand your anger, but this is bigger than our problems. Please, just one conversation. It's about a responsibility that came after our separation. Jennifer." The third letter was more direct. "Michael, I'm pregnant. I found out 2 weeks ago. The baby is yours, conceived during that last weekend we spent together before our final fight. I know you said you didn't want children, but I thought you had the right to know. If you don't want any contact, I'll understand and raise the child alone, but at least I wanted to be honest. Jennifer." Michael Anthony felt the world spin. There was a fourth letter, dated 3 months later. "Michael Anthony, since you haven't responded to the other letters, I assume your decision is truly to have no contact. I need to tell you it's not just one baby, it's 3. Triplets. The doctor said it's a very rare case. I'll need a lot of support during the pregnancy and afterward. If you've changed your mind, there's still time. If not, this will be my last attempt to reach out. Jennifer." The last letter was from 6 months later. "Michael Anthony, your daughters were born, Emily, Olivia, and Sophia. They're beautiful and healthy. They have your eyes and your nose. I thought you'd want to know they exist, even if you chose not to be part of their lives. Jennifer." Michael Anthony couldn't hold back his tears. 11 years of his daughters' lives had passed without him knowing they existed, and all because of a misunderstanding that could have been resolved with a simple conversation. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The next day, Michael Anthony was at the gate of the school where the girls attended. He had found the address through the investigator. He wasn't sure what he'd do, but he knew he needed to see them again. When the bell rang and the children began to leave, he saw Emily walking alone toward the gate. She recognized him immediately. You're the man from the market," she said, running up to him. "Hi, Emily. You remember me?" "Of course. You know my mum. How cool to see you here. Emily, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you know your dad? Your real dad, I mean." Emily looked confused for a moment. "I have Dad Daniel, who lives at home with us, but my mom always said we have another dad who doesn't live with us. And would you like to meet that other dad?" "So much. Sometimes we ask Mommy about it, but she gets sad when we bring it up." Just then, a school staff member approached. "Emily, your mom called. She's running late and asked you to wait inside." "Okay, bye, mister from the market." Emily waved at Michael Anthony before heading back inside. Michael Anthony stood there, processing the conversation. The girls wanted to meet him. Jennifer had told them about his existence, but in a way that left them curious. That night, Michael Anthony made a decision. He called Robert and asked him to find Jennifer's current address. The next day, he would go to her house and demand a conversation. The address led to a modest but well-kept home in a middle-class neighborhood. Michael Anthony rang the doorbell, his heart racing. A friendly, well-dressed man in his 40s answered. "Good afternoon. Can I help you?" "Good afternoon. I'm Michael Anthony Wilson. I'd like to speak with Jennifer." The man tensed immediately. "You're Michael Anthony, her ex-husband?" "Yes, and you must be her current husband?" "Daniel Roberts. Come in, please." Daniel led him to the living room. The house was cozy, with pictures of the girls everywhere. Michael Anthony noticed there were no photos of Daniel with the girls when they were little, only from recent years. "Jennifer," Daniel called. "There's someone here to see you." Jennifer appeared, drying her hands on a dish towel. When she saw Michael Anthony, she froze. "What are you doing here?" "I need to talk to you." "About the girls?" "We have nothing to discuss." "Jennifer, I read the letters." Silence filled the room. Daniel looked confused between the two. "What letters?" he asked. "The letters Jennifer sent me 11 years ago, telling me about the pregnancy. Letters I never received because my secretary intercepted them." Daniel looked at Jennifer in surprise. "You sent him letters?" "Daniel, I can explain." "Jennifer," Michael Anthony interrupted, "I never knew you were pregnant. If you had known what? You made it very clear that children weren't part of your plans." "I was angry. I was hurt. Those weren't my true feelings about fatherhood." "But they were the only feelings I knew at the time," Jennifer countered. Daniel stood up, clearly upset. "Wait a minute. Are you saying the girls are his daughters, his biological daughters?" "Daniel, Jennifer, you told me the girl's father wanted no contact, that he had rejected them." "It's more complicated than that." "It doesn't seem complicated. It seems you lied to me for 7 years. The argument was interrupted when Emily appeared in the room. "Why are you shouting?" she asked, then saw Michael Anthony. "Hi, you came to visit us." Olivia and Sophia appeared right behind their sister. "Mom, who is this man?" Olivia asked. "Girls, go upstairs," Jennifer said nervously. "But Mom..." "Now." "No," Michael Anthony interrupted. "You don't have to send them away. They have the right to know who I am." "You have no rights here," Jennifer said. "Actually, I do. They're my daughters." The silence that followed was broken by Sophia. "Are you our real dad?" she asked with wide eyes. "Yes, Sophia, I'm your biological father." "Why did you never come to see us?" Emily asked, with a mix of curiosity and hurt. "Because I didn't know you existed. Your mother tried to tell me, but I never got her messages." Olivia looked at Jennifer. "Mom, is that true?" Jennifer sat heavily on the couch, defeated. "It's true, I tried to tell him when you were in my belly, but he was too busy and never replied." "But Mom, you always said he didn't want us," Sophia said, confused. "I thought it was true. When he didn't answer any of my attempts to reach out, I thought he really didn't want you." Daniel abruptly left the room. They heard the front door slam. "Daniel came back," Jennifer shouted, running after him. Michael Anthony was left alone in the room with his 3 daughters, who watched him with curiosity mixed with caution. "Are you mad at me?" he asked. "A little," Emily answered honestly. "But we're also curious. We always wanted to meet you." "And I always wanted to meet you. I just didn't know you existed." "What do you do?" Olivia asked. "I have a company. I import products from other countries." "Are you rich?" Sophia asked innocently. Michael Anthony laughed despite the tension. "Sort of. But that's not what's important." "What is important?" Emily asked. "Getting to know you, learning who you are, what you like, how you are in school." "I like math," Olivia said. "I like drawing," Sophia added. "And I like reading," Emily finished. "What a coincidence. I liked math too when I was little, and I still like reading." Jennifer returned to the room, visibly shaken. Daniel left. He said he needs time to think. "Jennifer, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause problems in your marriage." "I know, but do you understand his situation? He's raised these girls as his own for 7 years. Suddenly their biological father shows up." "Mom, where did Dad Daniel go?" Sophia asked worriedly. He'll be back, sweetheart. He just needs time to understand the situation. Is it our fault? Emily asked. No, it's never your fault. It's the adults' fault for not knowing how to communicate properly. Michael Anthony Wilson knelt down in front of the girls. Girls, I want you to know something. I didn't come here to cause trouble or to take you away from Daniel. He's a good man who took care of you when I wasn't here. So you're leaving again? Olivia asked sadly. No, not if you want me in your lives. But that will depend on a lot of conversations between the adults. We want you to stay, Emily said, speaking for all three. Michael Anthony looked at Jennifer, who was visibly emotional. Jennifer, I need to talk to you. In private. Jennifer asked the girls to go upstairs to their room and sat on the couch next to Michael Anthony. I'm so sorry for everything that happened, she began. I really tried to tell you. I know. I read all the letters, and I'm sorry I never received them. If I had known, would you have changed your mind about having kids? Michael Anthony thought for a moment. Honestly? I don't know. I was very immature back then. Too focused on the company, but missing 11 years of their lives, it kills me. Michael Anthony, you need to understand that Daniel is the father they know. He may not be their biological father, but he's the one who took them to the doctor when they were sick, who helped with homework, who taught them to ride a bike. I understand, and I don't want to take that away from him, but I also can't pretend they're not my daughters. What exactly do you want? I want to be part of their lives. I don't know how yet, but I want to get to know them. I want them to know me. I want to make up for lost time. And if Daniel doesn't agree to share, then we'll have to find a way to make it work, for the girls' sake. The conversation was interrupted when Daniel returned. He seemed calmer, but still visibly shaken. Jennifer, can we talk? He asked. Of course. Michael Anthony, could you... No, Daniel interrupted. He needs to be part of this conversation too. After all, we now know he's their father. The three of them sat in the living room in heavy silence. Daniel, I want you to know I didn't come here to cause trouble, Michael Anthony began. I know, and after thinking a lot, I realized you were also a victim of the situation. You didn't know about the girls. That doesn't change the fact that you were the one present in their lives, Michael Anthony acknowledged. True, but it also doesn't change the fact that you're their biological father. Jennifer looked nervously between the two men. What are you proposing? I'm proposing we find a way to live with this situation, Daniel said. The girls deserve to know their biological father, but they also deserve to keep the stability they've always had. I agree, Michael Anthony said. I don't want to disrupt. I want to add. How would that work in practice? Jennifer asked. I don't know yet, Daniel admitted, but we can figure it out together. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. In the following days, the atmosphere in the Roberts home was tense but productive. Michael Anthony began visiting the girls regularly, always coordinating with Jennifer and Daniel. The girls adapted surprisingly well to having two fathers. During one of the visits, Emily asked a question that caught everyone off guard. Why can't we have two dads? At school, Madison has two dads because her parents divorced and remarried. It's a little different, Emily, Jennifer explained. You were born when I was married to your father, Michael Anthony, but Daniel raised you. Then we're really lucky, Olivia said. We have two dads who love us. The girls' innocence was key in helping the adults find a way forward. During one of their conversations, Daniel made an unexpected suggestion. Michael Anthony, how about you take the girls to visit your company? They're always asking about what you do. Would you mind? If they want to see it, I think they should. Just don't teach them that money is more important than family, okay? Michael Anthony laughed. Don't worry. In fact, ever since I met them, the company has become much less important in my life. The following Saturday, Michael Anthony picked up the three girls to visit his company. It was the first time he'd gone out alone with them. Wow, your building is so tall, Sophia exclaimed when they arrived. 20 floors. My company occupies 3 of them. Are you the boss of everyone? Olivia asked. Just some people. But being the boss also means having a lot of responsibilities. During the visit, the girls met the employees and were amazed by how busy the company was. Later that evening, as they were heading home, Emily asked an unexpected question. Dad Michael Anthony, do you ever feel lonely? Why do you ask? Because you live alone and work so much. Dad Daniel always says work is important, but family is more important. You know what? You're right. Before I met you, I thought work was the most important thing in the world. And now? Now I know you're more important than any business. In the weeks that followed, Michael Anthony began reorganizing his life to include his daughters. He cancelled trips, delegated more responsibilities, and started leaving the office earlier. Mrs. Baker, his secretary, was surprised by the changes. Doctor, are you all right? I've never seen you turn down so many meetings. I'm great, Mrs. Baker. I'm just learning to have different priorities. Does this have to do with those girls who visited the other day? Yes, they're my daughters, Mrs. Baker. I thought so. They look just like you. Why didn't you say anything back then about Jennifer's letters? Because I thought I was protecting you, Doctor. You were in such a bad place after the divorce. I thought any contact with her would make things worse. I understand your intentions, Mrs. Baker, but because of that I lost 11 years with my daughters. I'm so sorry, Doctor. If I could turn back time, no use regretting now. What matters is the future. One afternoon, Michael Anthony was in his office when he received a frantic call from Jennifer. Michael Anthony, I need your help. Olivia got sick at school and is in the hospital. What happened? She fainted during gym class. The doctors are running tests. I'm on my way. Michael Anthony arrived at the hospital and found Jennifer, Daniel, and the other two girls in the waiting room. Emily and Sophia ran to hug him. Dad Michael Anthony, is Olivia sick? Sophia asked with tears in her eyes. We don't know yet, sweetheart, but the doctors will take good care of her. When the doctor appeared, everyone stood up anxiously. She's stable, but will need to run more tests. We suspect a heart condition. What kind of condition? Jennifer asked. It might be congenital. We'll need the family medical history from both sides. Michael Anthony stepped forward. I can help with my family's history. My father had heart problems. That's important. We'll also need to test the other two girls since they're triplets. In the following days, while Olivia underwent tests, the whole family came together. Michael Anthony practically lived at the hospital, and Daniel was surprised by his dedication. You really love these girls, Daniel remarked during one of their long waits. I do. I know I've only known them for a short time, but it's a love that came out of nowhere and took over everything. I understand. That's how I felt when I met Jennifer and the girls. Daniel, you know I would never try to take your place, right? I know. And you know they're your daughters by blood too, right? The tests revealed that Olivia had a heart condition that could be corrected with surgery. Emily and Sophia would also need monitoring, but their condition wasn't as severe. Is the surgery complicated? Jennifer asked the doctor. It's a delicate procedure, but we've had great success with cases like this. Olivia is young and strong. What about the costs? Daniel asked, worried. Don't worry about the costs, Michael Anthony interrupted. She'll get the best treatment possible. Michael Anthony, we can't accept... She's my daughter, Daniel. Let me handle this. The surgery was scheduled for the following week. During the days of preparation, Michael Anthony noticed how the situation had brought the family even closer. He, Jennifer, and Daniel worked as a team, each contributing their strengths. The night before the surgery, Olivia asked to speak with the three adults. I want you all to know I'm not scared, she said with remarkable maturity for an 11-year-old. Why not, sweetheart? Jennifer asked. Because I have two moms and two dads looking after me. How could anything go wrong? The surgery lasted 6 hours. Michael Anthony, Jennifer, Daniel, Emily, and Sophia stayed in the waiting room the entire time. Many important conversations happened during the wait. Michael Anthony, Jennifer said during a quiet moment, I want to apologize. For what? For making a decision alone 11 years ago. Even if you didn't get the letters, I could have tried harder. Jennifer, we both made mistakes. I could have been more mature during the divorce too. You know what I think? Daniel interrupted. I think everything happened the way it was supposed to. How so? Michael Anthony asked. If you two had stayed together back then, maybe the girls wouldn't have the close-knit family they have now. Sometimes past mistakes build future blessings. When the doctor appeared with a smile, everyone stood up anxiously. The surgery was a complete success. Olivia is doing well and will make a full recovery. The relief was overwhelming. Emily and Sophia cried with happiness. Jennifer and Daniel hugged, and Michael Anthony felt an emotion he couldn't even describe. When Olivia woke up from the anesthesia, the first thing she saw was 6 people around her bed. Wow, she said weakly. This looks like a party. It is a party, Emily said. A celebration because you're okay. Dad, Michael Anthony, were you here the whole time? Olivia asked. Of course. I wasn't leaving until I knew you were all right. And Dad Daniel too? Me too, Daniel answered, holding her hand. So I really do have 2 dads, Olivia smiled. During Olivia's recovery, Michael Anthony made a surprising proposal. I want to set up an education fund for all 3 of them, he said during a conversation with Jennifer and Daniel. Michael Anthony, it's not charity, it's responsibility. Besides, I want them to have every opportunity I can provide. All right, Daniel agreed, but on one condition. What? They'll stay grounded. Money won't go to their heads. I completely agree. With Olivia recovering well, the family settled into a new routine. Michael Anthony started having lunch with the girls once a week and taking them out on alternate weekends. During one of these outings, Sophia asked a question that made Michael Anthony thoughtful. Dad, Michael Anthony, are you going to get married again? Why do you ask? Because you seem kind of lonely. And it'd be nice if you had a big family like ours. You are my big family, Sophia. But wouldn't it be even nicer if you lived with us? Michael Anthony Wilson laughed, but the question made him think. He really was alone. The company, which once filled all his time, now felt empty compared to the hours he spent with his daughters. That night, Michael Anthony called Jennifer. Jennifer, can I ask you something personal? Go ahead. Are you and Daniel happy? We are. Why? Just curious. I'm glad you found each other. Michael Anthony, can I ask you something too? Of course. Do you regret our marriage? Michael Anthony thought for a moment. No. Even with all the pain of the divorce, our marriage gave me the 3 most important people in my life, even though you didn't know about them for 11 years. Even then. And you? Do you regret it? No. I learned so much from you. And even if our marriage didn't work out, it gave me the girls and indirectly Daniel. A few months later, during the Triplets' 12th birthday, Michael Anthony organized a surprise party. It was the first time he had planned something specifically for his daughters. The party was at Jennifer and Daniel's house, but Michael Anthony took care of every detail, hiring clowns, buying decorations, and even ordering a custom cake. Wow, Dad, Michael Anthony, Emily said when she saw the decorations. You did all this for us? Of course. It's the first birthday of yours I get to celebrate. But you missed 11 birthdays, Olivia reminded him. That's true, so I'll have to make up for it by making the next 11 even more special. During the party, Michael Anthony gave a speech that moved everyone. Girls, I want you to know that even though I missed the first 11 years of your lives, every day I spend with you now makes up for all the days I lost. We love you too, Dad, Michael Anthony, Sophia said, speaking for all 3. And I want to thank Daniel, Michael Anthony continued, for taking care of you when I wasn't here. You're lucky to have 2 fathers who love you. And you're both lucky to have 3 amazing daughters, Daniel replied. The party was a success, but the most emotional moment came when the girls gave a joint speech. We want to thank our dads, Emily began. Dad Daniel, who was always here and taught us to be strong, Olivia continued. And Dad Michael Anthony, who even though he came later loves us just the same, Sophia finished. You're both the best dads in the world, all 3 said together. There wasn't a dry eye at the party. As the months passed, the family dynamic became more natural. Michael Anthony and Daniel developed a genuine friendship, united by their love for the girls. During one conversation, Daniel made a surprising confession. You know, Michael Anthony, I always knew this would happen someday. How so? The girls are so much like you, and Jennifer always acted strange when they asked about their biological father. I knew you'd show up one day. And how did you feel about that possibility? Scared, to be honest. Scared of losing them. But now I see I didn't lose anything. In fact, I gained a friend. Thank you for taking care of them, Daniel. Really. You're a better man than I am. We're not better or worse. We're different and complementary. The girls need us both. A year after their first meeting at the market, the family gathered to celebrate Michael Anthony's first official birthday as a present father. Olivia suggested they make a photo album of all their memories from the past year. Look, she said, showing a picture from the birthday party, how much we've changed in a year. You've grown so much, Michael Anthony observed. You've changed too, Dad, Michael Anthony, Emily noticed. You smile more now. That's true. You taught me how to smile again. As they put the album together, Jennifer made an observation that deeply touched Michael Anthony. Do you know what the most amazing thing about this whole story is? What? The girls never felt angry at you. Even after finding out you weren't there for the first years of their lives, they only felt curiosity and love. They really are special. They are. And I think that shows deep down. They always knew you existed and that you'd show up one day. Mom, Sophia interrupted, why did you and Dad Michael Anthony get divorced? The question took everyone by surprise. It was the first time the girls had asked directly about the divorce. Well, Jennifer began, looking at Michael Anthony, we were very different back then. I was too focused on work, Michael Anthony added. And your mother wanted attention I didn't know how to give. But did you love each other? Olivia asked. Very much, Jennifer replied. But sometimes love isn't enough if people don't know how to show it. And do you know how now? Emily asked curiously. Michael Anthony and Jennifer exchanged glances. Now we know how to be friends, Jennifer answered diplomatically. And that's important, Michael Anthony finished, because it means we can take care of you together. Over time, Michael Anthony realized his relationship with his daughters had completely changed his perspective on life and success. During a meeting at the company, he made a decision that stunned all the partners. I want to reduce my stake in the company, he announced. What do you mean? Robert, his oldest partner, asked. I want more time for family. The company can run perfectly fine without me being here 16 hours a day. Michael Anthony, you built this company from scratch. And now it's big and strong. It can stand on my legs, but it can also stand without them. Michael Anthony's decision sparked talk in the business world, but he didn't care. He had discovered something far more valuable than financial success. During one of Olivia's follow-up appointments, the doctor made an interesting observation. Her recovery has been exceptional, far beyond what we expected. Why? Jennifer asked. Children with strong emotional support heal faster, and Olivia clearly has a very solid support system. She has 2 fathers, a mother, and 2 sisters, Michael Anthony explained. That explains everything. The doctor smiled. On the way back from the hospital, Olivia asked a question that made Michael Anthony rethink many things. Dad, Michael Anthony, do you think everything happens for a reason? Why do you ask? Because if you had gotten Mom's letters back then, maybe you wouldn't have learned the things you did over these 11 years. What things? Like how to be more caring, how to give attention to family, how not to overwork. Michael Anthony was stunned by the depth of Olivia's insight. You're right, maybe I wouldn't have been a good father 11 years ago. And maybe Mum wouldn't have been a good wife if she hadn't married Dad Daniel first, Olivia continued. Olivia, you're 11. How do you know these things? I listen a lot, and I think a lot too. This conversation made Michael Anthony realize his daughters were far more mature and observant than he'd imagined. They had understood the whole situation with a clarity many adults wouldn't have. During the girls' second birthday after their arrival, Michael Anthony prepared a different surprise. Instead of a big party, he organized a family trip to a resort. A trip? Emily asked excitedly. Where to? Olivia wanted to know. Beach or mountains? And Sophia added. The beach, and everyone's going. Me, you girls, Mom and Dad Daniel. The trip became a milestone for the family. For 5 days they lived like a traditional family, but with a unique dynamic. Michael Anthony Wilson and Daniel Roberts naturally divided the parenting responsibilities, while Jennifer took care of coordinating logistics. During a sunset at the beach, Emily asked a question that touched everyone. "Do you think we're a normal family?" "Define normal," Daniel replied. "I don't know. A normal family has a father and a mother, not 2 fathers. But do you think we're less happy because we're different?" Michael Anthony asked. "No, I think we're happier," Olivia answered. "Why?" "Because we have more love. When one person loves you, it's already really good. Imagine when 2 people love you." "Do you know how special you are?" Jennifer said, moved. "Of course we know," Sophia responded. "We're identical triplets with 2 fathers who love each other. That's really rare." During the trip, Michael Anthony had an important conversation with Daniel. "Daniel, I need to tell you something." "Go ahead." "I really admire you. The way you've accepted this situation, how you've taken care of the girls. You're a better man than I could ever be in your position." "Don't say that. You're handling a complicated situation well, too. But you've been here for 7 years. I've only been here for 1. Michael Anthony, it's not a competition. The girls need both of us, each in our own way." "How are you so mature about this?" "Because I love these girls more than I love my own pride." On the last day of the trip, the girls asked to take an official family photo. When they saw the result, Olivia made an observation that perfectly captured what everyone felt. "Look how happy we all look." "Are you happy?" Jennifer asked. "Very," the 3 answered in unison. "Even with this whole complicated situation?" "Mom," Emily said patiently, "the situation isn't complicated. It's the adults who think it is." Back to their normal routine, Michael Anthony realized something had permanently shifted in his perspective. The company, which had once been his only source of fulfillment, was now just a means to provide a good life for his daughters. During a board meeting, he made a proposal that surprised everyone. "I want to create a support program for non-traditional families," he announced. "What do you mean?" one of the board members asked. "Families with different structures, divorced parents, adoptive parents, blended families. I want our company to pioneer policies that recognize these realities. Does this have to do with your personal situation?" "It does, but it's also about social responsibility. There are many families like mine that need support and understanding." The program was approved and became a model for other companies. Michael Anthony discovered he could use his business influence to help other families in similar situations. One evening, while helping Sophia with a homework assignment about family, she asked him a question that made him reflect deeply. "Dad, Michael Anthony, do you feel complete now?" "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "Before you knew us, did you feel like something was missing in your life?" Michael Anthony thought about the question. "You know, I didn't even realize something was missing. I thought I was complete with the company and my work. And now? Now I know you were the part that was missing. I just didn't know you existed. What if you'd never met us at the market? Then I would have lived my whole life without knowing what true happiness really means." That conversation made Michael Anthony realize just how much his life had changed. He'd gone from a lonely, work-obsessed businessman to a devoted father who finally understood the true value of family. A year and a half after their first meeting, the family received news that would change their dynamic once again. Jennifer was pregnant with Daniel's child. "How do you feel about having a little brother or sister?" Jennifer asked the girls. "It's going to be fun," Emily replied. "But it's going to be weird having a brother who only has one dad," Olivia observed. "What do you mean?" Jennifer asked. "We have 2 dads. The baby will only have Dad Daniel." Michael Anthony, who was present for the conversation, was touched by the remark. "Olivia, do you think that's a problem?" "It's not a problem," Sophia answered. "But we'll have to teach the baby that we have 2 dads, so he doesn't get confused." Jennifer's pregnancy brought a new dimension to the family. Michael Anthony found himself in the interesting position of being the stepfather to his daughter's future half-brother. "How do you feel about that?" Daniel asked during a conversation. "Honestly, I'm happy. The girls will have a brother, and that's good for them. And you don't feel left out? No, I already have 3 amazing daughters. I don't need more than that. During the months of pregnancy, Michael Anthony naturally got involved in the preparations. He helped set up the baby's room and attended doctor's appointments as a family member. When the baby was born, a boy named Ethan, the girls were overjoyed. "He's so beautiful," Emily exclaimed. "And he's our real brother," Olivia added. "We'll teach him everything," Sophia promised. Michael Anthony held Ethan in his arms and felt an unexpected emotion. That baby was his daughter's brother, which made him special by extension. "Hello, Ethan," he whispered. "You have 3 amazing sisters who will take great care of you. And a stepfather too," Daniel said, smiling. "Stepfather? Well, you're part of the family. Ethan will grow up knowing you as part of his life." Ethan's arrival strengthened the bond of the extended family even more. The girls took on the role of older sisters with seriousness and love, and Michael Anthony discovered he could love a child who wasn't his biological son. During Ethan's first birthday, the girls gave a speech that moved everyone present. "Our brother Ethan is very lucky," Emily began. "Because he has the best family in the world," Olivia continued. "He has Mom, Dad Daniel, and the 3 coolest sisters," Sophia went on. "And godfather Michael Anthony, who's like a second dad to him too," Emily finished. Michael Anthony hadn't expected to be included like that and was visibly moved. "Thank you, girls. Ethan is special to me too." "Of course he is," Olivia said naturally. "He's our brother, so he's kind of your grandson too." The children's simple logic kept surprising the adults. As Ethan grew and developed, the family dynamic became even richer. The girls, now 14, took on their responsibilities as older sisters with impressive maturity. During a family conversation, Daniel made an unexpected proposal. "What if we made our situation official?" "What do you mean?" Jennifer asked. "A ceremony. Not a wedding, but a celebration of our unique family." "That's a good idea," Michael Anthony agreed. "The girls deserve to have our family setup recognized officially." "And Ethan too," Emily added. "When he grows up, he'll understand that family can take many different forms." The ceremony was held in Jennifer and Daniel's backyard, with close family and friends in attendance. It wasn't a religious or legal event, but a celebration of the love and bond they had built. During the ceremony, each family member gave a speech. Jennifer began, "This family was born from mistakes and misunderstandings, but it grew with love and understanding. Today, we celebrate not just who we are, but what we've chosen to be together." Daniel continued, "I've learned that family isn't defined by blood or law, but by love and commitment. All of you are my family, and I'm honored to be part of your lives." Michael Anthony Wilson continued, 3 years ago, I was a lonely man who thought success was measured in money. Today, I know that success is measured in smiles, hugs, and shared moments. You taught me the true meaning of wealth." Emily spoke for her 3 sisters. "We're proof that love multiplies when shared. We have 2 fathers who love us in different but equally deep ways, a mother who's our hero, and a brother who'll grow up knowing family means love." The most touching moment came when Ethan, just 1 year old, babbled something that sounded like Daddy while looking at Daniel, then Pops while looking at Michael Anthony. "He already gets it," Olivia observed. "He has Daddy Daniel and Pops Michael Anthony." From that day on, Ethan called Michael Anthony Pops, a natural blend of father and uncle the kids themselves had created. Over the years, the family became an example in their community. Other divorced parents sought Michael Anthony and Daniel for advice on blended families. "The secret," Daniel always said, "is remembering it's not about us adults. It's about the children. They need love, stability, and examples of how to handle conflict with maturity. And it's also important to remember," Michael Anthony would add, "that love isn't a limited resource. The more we share, the more we have." At the triplets' 15th birthday, they reflected on their family's journey. "Remember when we met at the market?" Emily asked Michael Anthony. "Like it was yesterday." "You looked scared," Olivia recalled. "I was. I didn't know how to handle the situation." "And now?" Sophia asked. "Now I know love finds a way. Always." "Dad Michael Anthony," Emily said, "can you promise us something?" Of course. Never leave again. Even when we grow up, get married, have kids, you'll always be our father. I promise. You changed my life forever. There's no going back. That night, after the party, Michael Anthony called Robert, his investigator turned longtime friend. Robert, I want to thank you. For what, sir? For helping me find the truth. Without you, I might never have known about my daughters. Can I ask you something personal, sir? Of course. Do you regret anything these past few years? Michael Anthony thought for a moment. I regret not being more mature during the divorce. I regret saying things about family that weren't true, but I don't regret anything that happened after I found the girls. Not even missing 11 years? Not even that. Because if I'd known them as babies, I might not be the father I am today. Maybe I needed those 11 years to grow up and be ready to be the father they deserve. 2 years later, when the triplets turned 17, they made a decision that surprised everyone. They wanted an official DNA test. Why? Jennifer asked. It's not that we doubt it, Emily explained. We want absolute certainty for our own children someday. And we want Pop's Michael Anthony to have it legally documented, Olivia added. Are you sure? Michael Anthony asked. Absolutely, Sophia answered. You're our father in every way. Now we want it official too. The test confirmed what everyone already knew. Michael Anthony was unquestionably their biological father. But more important than the result was the girl's maturity in requesting it. Why was this important to you? Daniel asked. Because we want Ethan to grow up knowing family comes in many forms, Emily explained. And we want our future children to know that Grandpa Michael Anthony was always part of our lives. Besides, Olivia added, we want other divorced parents to see that it's possible to build a happy family even in complicated situations. You think about that? Michael Anthony asked, surprised. Of course, Sophia replied. We know our family is special, and we want to use that experience to help others. This conversation led the family to make a collective decision, to create a blog about non-traditional families. The girls would write from the children's perspective, Michael Anthony and Daniel from the father's perspective, and Jennifer about how a mother can navigate complex situations. The blog went viral within months. Families from all over the world shared their own stories and asked for advice. Did you know we'd become famous? Ethan, now 4 years old, asked during dinner. Not famous, Ethan, Emily corrected. Just proof that love always finds a way. Can I tell my school friends I have 2 sisters with 2 dads? Of course you can, Daniel answered. And you can also tell them you're lucky to have such a special family. During an interview for a TV show about modern families, the host asked a question that perfectly summed up the Wilson-Roberts family's journey. If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be? Michael Anthony answered first. I'd change my immaturity during the divorce. I would have listened more and spoken less. Jennifer added, I would have insisted more on sharing the news about the pregnancy. I would have found a way to make sure he knew. Daniel said, I wouldn't change a thing. Every mistake brought us here, and here is exactly where we needed to be. Emily spoke for her sisters. We wouldn't change anything either. Because if anything had been different, maybe our family wouldn't be as special as it is. The host asked one final question. What advice would you give to other families in similar situations? Remember that the children always come first, Michael Anthony said. And that love isn't a competition, Daniel added. It's important to communicate even when it's hard, Jennifer continued. And never forget that family is about love, not rules, Emily concluded. After the interview on their way home, Ethan made an observation that deeply touched all the adults. Daddy Daniel, Dad Michael Anthony, do you know you're the best dads in the world? Why do you say that, Ethan? Daniel asked. Because you like each other. My school friends have divorced parents who fight all the time. You like each other and take care of my sisters together. We learned that fighting doesn't solve anything, Michael Anthony explained. And that working together is much better for everyone, Daniel added. Can I have more siblings? Ethan suddenly asked. Ethan, Jennifer laughed. Not more babies, he clarified, but can I adopt the kids at school who don't have a happy family like ours? Ethan's innocence perfectly captured the spirit of the family they had built. Inclusive, loving, and always ready to expand their circle of love. Now, 5 years after their first meeting at the market, the Wilson-Roberts family had become a symbol of how complex situations can lead to beautiful stories when handled with maturity and love. Michael Anthony, once a lonely businessman focused only on financial success, discovered his greatest achievement was being a father. His company remained prosperous, but now served as a way to provide security and opportunities for his family. Jennifer found stability in the support of 2 men who loved her daughters, the stability she had always sought. His guilt over the years of secrecy had been replaced by gratitude for inadvertently creating an even stronger family. Daniel proved that a father's love has nothing to do with biology. His generosity in accepting and even encouraging Michael Anthony's presence in the girls' lives showed that real fathers only want their children's happiness. The triplets, now 17-year-old young women, grew up knowing they were deeply loved, and that family can take different shapes beyond the traditional. They had become advocates for unconventional families and planned to study family psychology to help other children in similar situations. Ethan grew up in an environment where love multiplies instead of divides, where conflicts are resolved through conversation, and where family is defined by choice, not just blood. During Sunday dinner, a weekly tradition the family had established, Emily asked a question that led to a deep conversation. "Dad, Michael Anthony, do you still work as much as before?" "No, why?" "Just curious, you seem happier now." "I am happier. Work gave me satisfaction, but you all give me joy. It's very different." "What's the difference?" Olivia asked. "Satisfaction is when you achieve something you wanted. Joy is when you didn't even know you were missing something, but then you realize it was exactly what your life needed." "Were we what you were missing?" Sophia asked. "Exactly. I just didn't know you were missing." "And now that you know," Jennifer asked, curious to hear his answer, "now I know family is the only thing that truly matters. Everything else is just extra." Daniel smiled. "Took you a while, but you got there." "True," Michael Anthony laughed. "You all taught me that success is measured in hugs received, not money earned." Ethan, now 5 and always attentive to adult conversations, made an observation that silenced the table. "Daddy Daniel, Daddy Michael Anthony, do you know you'll be grandpas one day?" "Why do you say that, Ethan?" Jennifer asked. "Because my sisters will get married and have babies, and then you'll both be grandpas to the same babies, just like you're both dads to the same daughters." The simplicity of Ethan's remark made everyone laugh, but it also made them imagine the future, a future where the unique family they'd built would extend to the next generation. "Ethan's right," Emily said. "Our kids will have 2 grandpas." "And they'll be very lucky for it," Olivia added. "Just like you were lucky to have 2 dads," Sophia finished. That night, after everyone had left, Michael Anthony stood alone in his apartment, now just a place to sleep, since he spent most of his free time with the family. He looked at the photos of the girls filling his living room and remembered the man he'd been 5 years earlier, a man who thought family was an obstacle to success, who avoided emotional commitments, and who measured his life only by professional achievements. That man had died in the supermarket aisle the moment he saw 3 girls in maroon dresses who had his eyes. In his place, a father was born, one who discovered that love for children is the most powerful force in the universe. Michael Anthony picked up the phone and called Jennifer. "Jennifer, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you think the girls know how much they changed my life?" "I think they know you love them. That's what matters to them. But I want them to know they saved me. Before them I was lost and didn't even realize it. Michael Anthony, they know. Trust me, they know." "How can you be so sure?" "Because they talk about you all the time. About how you've changed, how much happier you are, what a present father you've become. They see the transformation better than anyone." "Thank you, Jennifer, for everything." "Thank you for what?" "For raising 3 incredible girls, for giving me the chance to be a father, for building this wonderfully crazy family that works just perfectly. We built it together, Michael Anthony, all of us." After hanging up, Michael Anthony stepped onto his apartment balcony and gazed at the city below. Somewhere out there, his 3 daughters were sleeping safely, wrapped in the love of a family that had overcome every obstacle. He thought of the lonely man who used to stand on that same balcony, plotting business strategies and dreaming of financial success. That man could never have imagined his greatest achievement would be the simple joy of being called Dad by 3 girls who came into his life like a miracle disguised as coincidence. Michael Anthony smiled into the night and whispered a prayer of gratitude. Gratitude for a chance meeting in a supermarket that changed everything. Gratitude for stubborn ex-mothers-in-law who let secrets slip. Gratitude for efficient investigators who uncovered the truth. Gratitude for secretaries who held onto letters even when they weren't supposed to deliver them. But most of all, gratitude for 3 brave little girls who ran up to a stranger in a supermarket and asked if he was the man in the photos their mother hid. Because it was them, with their innocent curiosity and unconditional love, who turned a random encounter into the greatest love story of his life. A father's love. The only kind of love that grows when divided and multiplies when shared. End of story. Now tell us, what did you think of this story? Do you believe Michael Anthony made the right choices? How would you react if you discovered you had children you never knew about? Share your honest thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other heartwarming stories like this one.